How's it going, YouTube? Dallas Boy here with my National Pokeball League draft recap. The league just recently drafted and whatnot, so I pretty much thought I may as well just make a draft recap video to tell you guys what I drafted and my thought process behind it. So, yeah. So, I'm just gonna say beforehand that, we kind of picked, like the old GBA format, but with a little bit of a twist. We actually got to pick our Megas first, and then for the second round we got our franchise mons, and then we just pick the rest of the contracts from there. So this time I opted to pick 11th in the draft, because if I picked 11th in the draft, I pretty much guaranteed myself a pretty darn good franchise mon, and this franchise mon would definitely be one of the best in the league, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I planned for when picking my draft spot, since we were pretty much redrafting this year. Boy, did I come in at a pretty good time, I guess. But anyways, with the 11th pick, I wanted to get something that complemented my franchise pick, and mon that I opted to go for was Mega Manectric. And Mega Manectric would definitely help my franchise mon create a little bit of momentum. Yes, I did pick a U-turner for that, but we'll get into it later. But it would help in a little bit of a Volt Turn core. And Mega Manectric has a blazing fast 135 speed, and coupled with a pretty strong 135 special attack, Mega Manectric can hit pretty darn hard. Not as hard as Raikou, but it is faster, so we'll help it get out of there in some situations. And I do have a little bit of Intimidate going on with it to help buffer the physical hits, so I could run a little bit of bulk on it. We'll see. But, yeah, that is pretty much what Mega Manectric's going to be doing, aside from getting some coverage, having some Fire-type moves to hit some Grass-types with and whatnot. And, yeah, Mega Manectric is pretty much going to be a pretty big boon to my team, in my opinion. And now on to my franchise mon. Yes, I did pick a U-turner, and yes, I picked Tornadus Therian. And Tornadus Therian does have a pretty darn good move pool, if I have to say so myself. And coupled with Regenerator, and yeah, U-turn Regenerator is a pretty darn good combination. The Hurricane misses could come into play sometime this season, but we'll have to see. But Tornadus Therian is a blazing fast mon with base 121 speed, and yeah, that speed can definitely kill a lot of people. As well as its pretty solid base 110 special attack. I believe Tornadus Therian possesses 110 special attack, at least. Somewhere in that range, I guess. But Tornadus is definitely the Tim Duncan of this franchise, and definitely a good franchise mon to keep around. So that's why I picked that as my franchise mon. Next up in the draft, I wanted to get a little bit of bulk going, so I opted to go with Cresselia. And last season in the NPL, Cresselia was a big pain in the butt. Kind of sort of why that Cresselia wasn't picked in the GBA, because it's a fat duck that just stalls and stalls and stalls. But it can do other stuff. It can set up Calm Minds. Has a pretty respectable 85 special attack. And it can just pretty much be a giant nuisance at times. So that's pretty much the reason why I picked that with my third pick. For my fourth pick, I wound up picking up Empoleon. Empoleon will definitely help me set up some rocks, roar away stuff, defog away hazards, get off some Scald Burns, and it serves as a pretty darn good bulky water, which will definitely help me out in some matches, trying to sponge some hits and whatnot. And if I'm not mistaken, Napoleon has about the second most resistances in the format. I think, maybe, not sure. So, Napoleon's definitely going to help me out a lot this year, sponging some hits. And with my 5th pick, I wound up picking up Cobalion. Pretty much definitely what I wanted at that slot. Cobalion is another steel type for my team, but it has access to a lot of good moves like Swords Dance, Volt Switch, Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, you name it. I can come in on Weavile, which is in my division, and will definitely hurt me a lot. But Cobalion, definitely the star player of all the Musketeers in this format, in my opinion at least. Has the move pool, has the bulk, has the Volt Switch, and I can create a few Volt Turn chains with Mega Man Electric and Tornado's Therian. And I can definitely see Cobalion being this team's MVP. Well, not by kills by any means, but in the support category. And with my 6th pick, I wound up picking up Goodra. Goodra, as seen in earlier battles, and I think you can see it from Gym Leader Geo in the GBA. Goodra has a wide plethora of options. I can set up the rain to help Mega Man Electric drop some thunders if need be, and probably get rid of status on my Goodra and rest off a little bit. Goodra also possesses a pretty darn good base 110 special attack like my old buddy Tornado's Therian. And big selling point here is its fat base 150 Spec D, which will help me take a lot of special hits. I do also possess Gooey and Sap Sipper, which can help me in some situations. And I can see Goodra being a pretty good part of this team, in my opinion. I do have it for 2 years, but it's going to make those 2 years count. And with the next pick, I got Cloyster. Kind of reached for this one, but I needed a bit of a spinner. And not only could Cloyster spin, I actually have a few other options I can work with. I can play defensive, I can play Shell Smash, and I can pretty much do some stuff to that Mega Pincer that's in my division. But we'll see what I can do about it. Cloyster does have a very good base 180 defense, which will help me take a lot of physical hits. And after Shell Smash, I can pretty much assimilate a good number of stuff. So I can definitely see Cloyster becoming a win con for my team in some weeks. But I guess we'll have to see how it does. And right after Cloyster, I went for, yep, you guessed it, Steelix! Nah, I'm just kidding, I went after Rhyperior. Rhyperior, it will be my bird spam check for my team. I can also set up some rocks with it, and Rhyperior does have a pretty darn good move pool, I have to say. I could Rock Polish, Swords Dance a little bit. Rhyperior can also set up some Stealth Rocks on the team. Get off some pretty meaty Earthquakes, and a bunch of other stuff. But we'll see what I can do with it. I've got quite a few things in mind. But you're just going to have to see them. And with my next pick, and I'm definitely surprised that this thing slipped all the way down to round 9. I went after Nidoqueen. Yes, I got another Stealth Rock on my team. Bite me. But Nidoqueen has pretty good offensive capabilities with sheer force, and its physical and special move pools are pretty good for it, in my opinion. But in Smogon formats, it just tends to run special sets and whatnot. But I can go physical or special with Nidoqueen. And it also packs a very good sheer force ability, which will definitely help me out in dealing a good bunch of hits to my other opponents. But yeah, I can definitely see Nidoqueen doing a lot of work for this team and dealing out some damage. I mean, it definitely served out Dan aka A-Drive well, so I think I can make some pretty good work out of Nidoqueen, in my opinion. And in the 10th round, I wound up getting Entei. Entei might not have the best move pool, but it does have some very, very key stuff that I like. Sacred Fire, which gives me a 50% chance to burn whatever wants to come in on me. Extreme Speed, which is +2 priority, and pretty much alleviates a little bit of my priority issue. And a pretty strong base 115 attacking stat. It is a little bit rocks weak, but I needed the priority, and I definitely like the Sacred Fire burning implications and whatnot. And with the last pick, I wound up going after Granbull. Granbull is a little bit interesting. I mean, it does have fairy typing, which will help me sponge some dark hits, probably a few knockoffs here and there. It does give me Intimidate, which will help me kind of buffer a few physical hits, kind of like Manectric. And I do have some stab play rough, good elemental punches here and there, access to T-Wave, Heal Bell. Granbull does have some pretty good options, I have to say. So, I'm just going to have to try to utilize them to the best of my ability. So, that's pretty much my draft in context. I'm in a pretty tough division. Pretty much the Circle of Death. Or Group of Death, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, I'm hoping that I can get a pretty good season in. And let's see if I can bring home a championship to the San Antonio Swamperts. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, sub. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.